Good afternoon. My name is Connie Bellows, and I'm the Director of the Delta Strategy. It's been a pleasure to work with the Chamber's Leadership Grand Rapids and planning this community work session. Kevin Stotts, where are you? It's been great working with you and your team. It's been a lot of fun. As I look around the room, I see some new faces. Welcome. And I see some faces who have been around the table working on community issues for a long time. Welcome back. I want to acknowledge, too, there's a lot of good work going on in our community. And Dr. Morse touched on a few of the issues. We're not here today to reinvent the wheel. We're not here to start any new initiatives, but rather to connect the dots, to find the gaps, and in dialogue, plan for action. We're grateful to have Dr. Suzanne Morse, President of the Pew Partnership for Civic Change and author of Smart Communities, here with us today. Most of you heard her powerful keynote address at lunch. If you weren't there, you will pick up on the 7 leverage points of a smart community as we dialogue together this afternoon. In fact, dialogue, practicing democracy, is one of the 7 points that is critical for change. Dialogue and inclusion of diverse voices and perspectives are our necessary components for change. For change to happen, people must be able to organize themselves to act. And dialogue is the process that makes that happen. And we're going to have a chance to do that this afternoon. But before we leave here for the breakout sessions, I want to give Dr. Morse an opportunity to speak. Dr. Morse.
Well, for those of you who've just been sitting there listening to me for 45 minutes, you're probably sorry that I got another opportunity to speak. But let me say just a word about this afternoon and kind of how what you're doing kind of fits into a larger scheme. I spent a lot of my career, and I'm still on the board at the Kettering Foundation, and one of our major issues is public deliberation. And we have had lots of people over the years ask us why it makes any difference at all. I want to answer that question because of what you're doing today. It is the very basis of our democracy. The reason we are in, part of the problem we're in every community and nationally, is that we don't know how to talk to each other anymore. And so what you're doing this afternoon is not only dialogue, but it's really building on the strength of our democracy. There's something that I came to understand about public work, and that is that there's this term called public judgment. I didn't understand what that was. I just thought, was that, some people have it and some people don't. Until it was explained to me. I know what I know, and you know what you know, but we don't know what we know together until we've talked about it. It's the strength. That's the first thing I want to tell you. The second thing I want to tell you is that the issues, you're going to self-select, I think, to different groups. But I guarantee you that in each of your groups, you're going to be talking about what the other 2 groups are talking about. Because these issues are related. For those of you that were here, youth development, career and workforce development, and health are all related. Now, why are they related? To go back to my favorite theme, which is dropout prevention. People who drop out of high school, and you're going to be talking about those in session 1 and session 2, live 10 years less than the rest of us. They access 80% of their health care from the federal government. Their children are less healthy. Their children miss more days of school. It's a major, major issue, health, related to the other 2. For those of you who did not come, the whole career preparation and workforce development has everything to do with Group 1, youth development. So I would just encourage you not to do what we do in communities, and that's, okay, we can solve the health care issue. It's not just about health care. All those issues are related, and you know that. The third point I want to tell you is I may look old. I am old, actually. As Mark Twain said, it's what you've learned after you know it all that really counts. And what I know after all these years of working in the field, if you will, is that we can solve these problems. I have in my briefcase right now a nano iPod that's that big that has 1,000 songs on it. And surely to goodness, we can think about how to keep a kid in school if we can put 1,000 songs on something that's this big that I can carry in my pocket. So I haven't given up hope at all. In fact, I have a lot of hope that we can begin to solve some of these issues. It's in our best interest. It's in the children of this community and the adults of this community who haven't been as fortunate as we have. Now, just two little final points. One of the issues that undergirds all three of the task forces that you will be discussing, or issues you'll be discussing, is poverty. In Grand Rapids, your poverty rate is about 15%, if community counts, if I'm right about that. That is way, way, way too high. And if you think about who the people are who are making a little more than $19,000 plus a year, you got a whole different group. So my guess is you've got families in this community, I would say a third, I'm just guessing, a third of them are living at or near the poverty line. So this is driving the three issues, it would seem to me, that you're talking about. I'll just close with a little joke because it's warm in the afternoon. I'm working with, I love this joke, the mayor of Roanoke, who is a Baptist preacher. And so we exchange things about our church, particularly stewardship time. You know, that's the time to miss when they're trying to build the budget. I told him that. I said, that's the time to miss church, not go. So he told me this little joke, which I want to put it in the context of today. It's about being open to new ideas, about being creative to what we call things. And it's about thinking about things as broadly as you can. That's the context I want to put this in. He tells the story. Someone called the church, and the secretary picks up, and the man says, I'd like to speak to the head hog. And the secretary said, now, sir, if you are talking about our pastor, she said, you can call him pastor, you can call him reverend, you can call him doctor, you can call him brother, you can call him anything you like, but I'm not going to put you through if you call him the head hog. Actually said head hog at the trough. So the man said, well, whatever. He said, I'm just sitting here ready to write a $10,000 check to the building fund. She said, hold on a minute. I believe I see that little pig coming now. So do not be limited by names. Good luck to you. I will be circulating. Do not stop what you're saying when I walk in the room because I've got to make trips to all three of your sessions. I'm just going to stand around and listen a little bit. So please do not let me interrupt you. This community work is about fun. It's not about work. It's really about fun. It's getting to know people in ways that you've never known them before. And the one thing that I can assure you about is everybody is concerned about their children in the same way that we're all concerned about our children. We're all concerned about the future. And so I just say go forth, have a lively discussion. Do not let it leave today. Think of what's, before you leave those rooms, think about who's going to do what. Who's going to do what? Who's going to convene? Who's going to get people back together again? Who's going to call so-and-so? Who's going to meet for breakfast? Who's going to meet for lunch? Do not leave it at the table. This is the time, this is the year to begin to change these issues forever. So thank you, good luck, and I'll see you in your sessions.
Okay, if you are working on the career preparation and workforce development, you're staying right here at the round tables. If you are in youth development, it's Vandenberg A, right across the aisle. And the health disparities is in Vandenberg B. So we will see you back here about 4:15.